Welcome the night and its dreams. Once upon a time, in a small coastal village, where the waves lapped like the whispers of the ocean, there lived a girl named Lynn. Lynn was unlike the others in the village. She had eyes as deep as the ocean, long black hair that shone like moonlight, and a voice that made every creature in the forest stop to listen. Since she was a child, Lynn had always felt that she belonged somewhere far away, deeper, where the ground could not reach. The villagers loved her, but were also afraid of her. They told old stories that the ocean was not always gentle. There were mermaids who were beautiful but carried dark secrets. They sang enchanting songs, drawing people into the ocean, never to return. One moonlit night, Lynn stood by the shore, her voice blending with the sound of the waves. But this time, something was different. From afar, a silvery figure appeared on the water. It was the mermaid. She had long blue hair, eyes as bright as the stars, and a tail that sparkled like thousands of pearls. The mermaid did not speak, only smiled, her eyes full of affection, but also carried a deep sadness. Lynn walked forward, as if hypnotized. She was not afraid, did not hesitate, just felt like she had found something she had lost long ago. The villagers witnessed the scene from afar. They shouted, calling Lynn to come back. But it was too late. Lynn stepped into the water, her hand touched the mermaid's hand, and both disappeared into the ocean. In the following days, the village was filled with pain and regret. They did not understand why Lynn had left everything. But the oldest woman in the village, who often sat by the beach telling fairy tales, whispered, "The sea calls back what belongs to it." Maybe Lynn does not really belong to this world. Maybe she is a part of the ocean, and the mermaid simply brought her back to where she belongs. Since then, every moonlit night, people still hear the song echoing from the ocean. A sad but heartbreakingly beautiful melody, like Lynn's greeting to the people she once loved, and a reminder that even though she is far away, she will forever be a part of the story of the ocean and its wonders. As time passed, the villagers gradually got used to Lynn's absence, but no one forgot her. Whenever they heard her singing from afar, they would stop, close their eyes, and imagine Lynn was still there, standing among them, with her gentle smile and soulful voice. But then one day, something strange happened. A shepherd boy, who often wandered along the beach, happened to discover a giant seashell lying on the sand. The shell was unlike anything he had ever seen, with a smooth surface like crystal, and emitting a faint light in the sunlight. When the boy put his ear to the shell, a familiar melody rang out. Lynn singing. The news spread quickly throughout the village. Villagers flocked to see the magical shell. They called it "Message from the Ocean." Every time they put their ear to it, they could not only hear the singing, but also feel the warmth, as if Lynn were very close. The shell became a treasure, placed in the center of the village, where everyone could come and remember Lynn at any time. One night, the old woman sat by the sea again, the moonlight illuminating her wrinkled but gentle face. She sang softly an old song, the one Lynn had loved. When the song ended, the sea suddenly flashed. A blue light shone from afar, and for a moment, the old woman saw the silhouette of Lynn and the mermaid. Lynn smiled, her eyes as gentle as ever. She put a finger to her lips, as if to say, "Please keep it a secret, this is my last goodbye." The light went out, and the old woman never told anyone else about what she had seen. She just quietly lived the rest of her life in peace, knowing that Lynn was happy somewhere, where she truly belonged. A few years later, the children in the village grew up, and the story of Lynn became a legend. They told their children that Lynn was not taken away, but was chosen to become a part of the ocean, a free spirit flying among the waves and moonlight. And every moonlit night, even though no one saw the mermaid or Lynn anymore, the song still echoed. As a reminder that love and sacrifice never disappear, they only change form, forever remaining in the hearts of those who remember. As the years passed, the story of Lynn and the mermaid gradually became a legend. But the sea, like a book that never closes, always brings new and surprising chapters. One summer morning, the waves suddenly washed ashore a strange thing. A chest made of pearl shells, inlaid with rolling wave patterns and shining with pearls. The villagers gathered around the chest, full of curiosity. When they opened it, they found beautiful paintings painted on large shells inside. These paintings told the story of Lynn after she left. One painting depicts Lin in her familiar form, but surrounded by magical sea creatures. Schools of glowing fish, jellyfish that glow like lanterns, and other mermaids, all blending into a magical scene. Another painting shows Lin sitting on a large rock, her long hair flying in the sea breeze. Next to her is a mermaid with sad but loving eyes. The paintings are not only beautiful, but also bring a warm feeling, as if Lin wants to send a message. She is happy, living in a world where she belongs, and she has not forgotten the small village that used to be her home. But what moved everyone the most was the last painting. It depicts Lin standing between two worlds. One side is the deep ocean, the other side is the sandy shore with the familiar village. The smile on her lips is like a promise. Even though she belongs to the ocean, her heart is always with the people she loves. From then on, the villagers no longer feel loss or regret. They keep the chest as a treasure, so that every time they look at the paintings, they can feel Lin's presence. Generations have passed, the village has changed, but the chest and the story of Lin are still passed down. It is believed that Lin has become a part of the ocean, and that every wave, every wind carries her whisper, reminding people of the beauty of freedom, courage, and boundless love. On bright moonlit nights, people can still hear her singing from afar, as gentle as the lullaby of the sea. And every time the silver light of the moon shines on the water, they think to themselves, Lin is still there, in the vast ocean, living a life that no one can fully understand, but is full of meaning, and she never forgets us. One day, a young girl named An, a descendant of one of the families in the village, accidentally found a magical chest in a hidden corner of the ancient house. Anne had been fascinated by the story of Lin and the mermaid since she was a child, but she never thought she would see the chest that the villagers had talked about. When she opened the lid, the shimmering light emitted from the paintings made Anne unable to take her eyes off. Among the paintings, Anne noticed a painting that had never been told in the legend. The painting depicted a large pearl door deep in the ocean. On the door, ancient symbols were carved delicately, and next to the door was the figure of Lin, smiling, her hand raised as if inviting, and felt as if something was urging her to explore. In the following days, she often sat by the beach, looking at the horizon and listening to the sound of the waves. One full moon night, when a familiar song echoed from afar, Anne decided to do what no one in the village had ever dared to do. She rowed out to sea. The small boat bobbed among the waves. The moon illuminated the water, guiding Anne. She followed the singing, which became clearer and clearer, as if it were calling her name. Suddenly, the sea water around her glowed, blue phosphorescence dancing around the boat. And then, from within the water, a figure emerged. It was Lin. But she was not just the Lin of the old stories. She was more beautiful, more radiant, with a look that was both familiar and strange. She did not speak, but her eyes shone with tenderness and trust. She reached out to Anne, and without any explanation, Anne understood that she was chosen, and took Lin's hand, and in that moment, she felt a current of energy flow through her body, as if the ocean welcomed her. Both disappeared beneath the water, leaving the small boat bobbing. The next morning, the villagers found the boat drifting ashore, but Anne was nowhere to be seen. The village elders were not surprised. They said, "The ocean has chosen Anne, as it once chose Lin. Perhaps she also carries a part of the ocean within her, and now she has found where she truly belongs." From there, new stories began to be added to the village legend. The villagers believed that Anne and Lin were now living in another world, a world of freedom, of wonders that humans could not fully understand. The song from the ocean continued to echo on moonlit nights, now with a youthful and powerful voice blending with Lin's gentle melody. It was a reminder that whether in the vast ocean or on land, love and the connection between humans and nature will always exist, transcending all boundaries.